What if the atomic bombs were never dropped? Imagine a world where the mushroom cloud never bloomed over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. A world where the atomic age began differently, or perhaps not at all. What would that world look like? The year is 1945. World War II is raging, and the Pacific Theater is a brutal landscape of island hopping and relentless fighting. The Allies are closing in on Japan, but the Japanese are prepared to fight to the last man, woman, and child. Operation Downfall, the planned Allied invasion of Japan, looms large. It's a terrifying prospect, promising unimaginable casualties on both sides. But what if there was another way? What if the atomic bombs were never used? President Truman faced an impossible choice. The Manhattan Project had delivered a weapon of unimaginable power. Using it could end the war quickly, but at a horrific cost. The rationale was simple yet agonizing: save more lives in the long run by ending the war swiftly. The alternative was a bloody invasion, potentially costing millions of lives. Operation Downfall was a two-pronged assault. Operation Olympic would target Kyushu, the southernmost island, followed by Operation Coronet, aimed at the Kanto Plain near Tokyo. Imagine the beaches of Kyushu, not as they are today, but as scenes of unimaginable carnage. Wave after wave of Allied soldiers facing fanatical resistance. Estimates for Operation Downfall casualties were staggering. Some projections suggested millions of Allied casualties, and many more Japanese deaths. The Japanese were preparing a desperate defense, mobilizing civilians and training them to fight with whatever they could find. The potential for bloodshed was almost unfathomable. The question of Japanese surrender is complex. The military held immense power and were committed to fighting to the bitter end. Emperor Hirohito's role was crucial. While traditionally a figurehead, his intervention was ultimately necessary for the surrender to occur. Would he have acted without the atomic bombs? The Soviet Union's entry into the Pacific War in August 1945 added another layer of complexity. The Soviets swiftly invaded Manchuria, overwhelming Japanese forces. This invasion put immense pressure on Japan, depriving them of vital resources and opening up another front. Would this alone have been enough to force a surrender? Without the atomic bombs, the Cold War might have unfolded very differently. The United States wouldn't have possessed the ultimate trump card. The balance of power between the US and the Soviet Union could have been significantly altered, potentially leading to a more multipolar world. The Chinese Civil War between the communists and nationalists was already underway. Without the atomic bombs, the Soviet Union might have been able to provide more support to the communists. A stronger communist China, backed by a less constrained Soviet Union, could have dramatically reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Asia. The United Nations was established in the aftermath of World War II, aiming to prevent future conflicts. Without the atomic bombs, its role and influence might have been different. Perhaps international cooperation would have been stronger, or perhaps the lack of a clear superpower dominance would have led to more instability. The decision to use the atomic bombs remains one of the most controversial in history. Was it justified to save lives by taking so many? The moral implications are profound and continue to be debated. There are no easy answers, only difficult questions. Exploring what-if scenarios is a fascinating but ultimately speculative exercise. We can never know for sure what would have happened. Counterfactual history allows us to examine the complexities of the past and consider the potential consequences of different choices. Regardless of whether the atomic bombs were used, the human cost of World War II was immense. Millions died, and countless lives were shattered. Let us never forget the suffering and sacrifice of those who lived through this terrible conflict. Their stories deserve to be remembered. What do you think? Would Japan have surrendered without the atomic bombs? How would the world be different today? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this fascinating what-if scenario. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more thought-provoking historical content. Check out our other videos on World War II and related topics. And don't forget to share this video with your friends.